Okay, so today let us first discuss the Gauss-Seidel iteration method. This is the next practical. Okay, so this method actually deals with finding out the solution again for a system of linear equations, just as we have done before the Gauss elimination method. So this is another alternative method. So let us see what is the practical dealing about it. So the problem is solve the following equations by Gauss-Seidel method, correct up to 5 decimal places. So in the first page, you are going to write this one, and this is the system of equations which is provided here. For the Gauss-Seidel method, the main thing is that this method is applicable. That means again it is an iteration method, as you will see once we just approach. So this being an iteration method, there is a question of convergence of it, and this method is convergent provided some criteria is satisfied. And what is the criteria? The criteria of diagonal dominance of the coefficient matrix. So you all know how we can form the coefficient matrix from here. Okay, so once we get the coefficient matrix, that coefficient matrix elements should satisfy the condition of diagonal dominance. What is the condition of diagonal dominance expressed as? This is the expression we define, or let us take a constant k. What is the constant k? Equal to maximum over I summation. Okay, please need the some notation, summation over j not equal to I mod of aij. This is a summation, and then in the denominator this is mod of aii. So what is this aij? These are nothing but the elements of the coefficient matrix. Okay, so what you are actually doing, you are actually finding out the maximum of these three elements. These three elements, why? Because here you can just all guess, here you are just getting this coefficient matrix. So one thing I have just omitted one term here. There will be one term more. Actually, I have written in terms of 3 cross 3 matrix, but it is a typo here. You have to consider it is a 4 cross 4 matrix. If you can see here, there are 4 variables, so it is a 4 cross 4 matrix. Okay, no problem. This is a typo here. What we are actually doing, let me just explain the pattern. Summation over this j not equal to I mod of aij. So if I just fix say I1, okay, because maximum I have to take over all I. Here I runs from 1 to 4, 1 to 3, 4. So let me take I equal to 1. So what will be the first term? A12 plus A13 plus A14. Okay. As I have written this term in with respect to a 3 cross 3 matrix, so I have written A12 plus A13 mod. Okay, but there should be plus A14 mod also corresponding to the specific problem I have provided here. Okay. So mod of A12 plus mod of A13 plus mod of A14 by I equal to 1 you are taking, so by mod of A11. Again, I equal to 2 I will fix. Then I will get here what? I2 fix, so A21 mod of A21 plus mod of A23 plus mod of A24. So again one term will be here by mod of A22. Similarly, if I take I equal to 3, then mod of A31 plus mod of A32 plus mod of A34 should be here by mod of A33. Another term will be here I equal to 4, which already is missed here. So it will be mod of A41 plus mod of A42 plus mod of A43 by mod of A44. So you have to calculate all these terms and then take the maximum of these 4 terms. Okay, that will be the value of this k. Now, as I talked about the convergence, this method is convergent if the value of this k is less than 1. If not, then this iteration method is not convergent. Okay, and this value mod k less than 1 is set to the method of or the criteria of diagonal dominance. Diagonal dominance, why? If you can just note it carefully, what we are actually doing here or calculating here. If you consider the matrix, say I equal to 1, you are considering, right? So you are considering the first row. What you are doing in the first row, excluding or just not considering the first element, you are adding up the remaining elements. And you are considering the first element, that is A11 in the below part. So if it is any row I am taking, what I am doing, I am just omitting the diagonal element and adding up the rest. Again, for this one, I am omitting this element and adding up the rest. The method is that this ratio should be less than 1, right? Maximum over all this. If maximum is less than 1, then anything you take will be less than 1. So accordingly, what we are trying to show here, if you add up all these terms, that should be less than the diagonal term. Because if I say, suppose consider this is the maximum. Okay, so what you are getting? Mod of A12 plus mod of A13 by mod of A11 less than 1. That means what? Mod of A12 plus mod of A13 less than a mod of A11. That means the diagonal element in the first row is larger than the sum of all the remaining elements. Okay. So if this is the case, and as this is the maximum, so obviously this will be the case, that is less than 1 will be the case for all the remaining ones. Okay. So the thing is that the diagonal dominance speaks about, as a, just note the term diagonal dominance. That means the diagonal element will be dominating. That means the diagonal element will be greater than the sum of all the remaining elements. Okay. So if it is the first row, then this element should be greater than all these three. Again, for the second row, this element should be greater than the sum of all the remaining ones. For the third one, this one will be greater than the sum of all the remaining ones. And for the last one, again, this will be greater than the sum of all these three terms. So this is the diagonal dominance. So if the coefficient matrix is such that it is diagonal dominant, then only this method is convergent. Otherwise, the method is not convergent. Now the point is ki whatever this matrix, you will check on your own whether this is obviously this k is becoming less than 1 or not. If not, then definitely this method is not applicable. In some cases, I must mention it here, ki suppose this matrix is given to you. We know what ki this is nothing but a system of linear equations, right? So there is nothing alteration which will happen if I just take this one as my first equation and this one as my second equation, or vice versa. Anything, you can just change anyone as you can take anyone as the first equation, any other as a second equation. That means you can shuffle, like, right? Okay, the shuffling won't matter, won't change the solution, right? So we can do the shuffling. Another thing what we can do, we can write, say suppose I can write 4.93x1 plus 1.8x3 plus 1.13x2 plus this thing. So that will also not change my solution. So we are allowed to do those shufflings, but you see properly ki those shufflings are nothing but just changing the rows and the columns of the coefficient matrix. That means the elementary row operations or elementary column operations. That means in one sense elementary matrix operations which we can perform here. In some case, I won't say key for any case it is possible, but definitely in some cases it may happen that the given coefficient matrix is not diagonally dominant. But by suitably interchanging the rows and columns, you can get a new matrix, say A dashed, from starting from the initial matrix A, such that A dashed becomes diagonally dominant. So what you have to do, what is my point? That means whatever A is given to you, you have to check this one first. In case it is not, then you have to try to make it diagonally dominant. That is, obviously you have to try it in rough. Once you get it diagonal dominant, then you can do this sum, and you have to take in that case that means that new fashion you have to write down as a new system of linear equations. Then again you have to calculate it and then say okay, it is less than 1, so the Gauss-Seidel method is applicable, and then you apply the method. How to apply the method we will just discuss in a little time. So this is the thing, either it is diagonally dominant or it can be made diagonally dominant by suitable elementary row change or column change, or it is not diagonally dominant. In case it is not diagonally dominant, you cannot apply this method. Okay. Achha. So this is it. So suppose we just guess here this whatever this is given to us, it is diagonally dominant. Okay. So what you have to do for the practical purpose, let me again state this. You are writing in the first page. You are defining this one. There is a huge typo here. Please do not make this mistake again in this practical part of yours. I am just repeating it again and again. You have to calculate this thing with respect to the matrix provided here. But I have written it with respect to 3x3 matrix, which is not the case here. Okay. So please do not make this mistake again once you submit your practical. Okay. So once you do this, suppose you have to check whether you are getting the value less than 1 or not. If it is less than 1, you have to write therefore iteration converges. Okay. Now comes the method. Once the iteration converges, that means we can apply the method. Okay. Achha. Another thing you should write here, the coefficient matrix is diagonally dominant. Iteration converges as the coefficient matrix is diagonally dominant. Okay. Achha. Now the method itself, we can now write the solution as, please see what we are writing in the solution part. x1, k1, k plus 1. Achha. Wow, we already know how to read this term now. This is the first variable at the k plus 1th step iteration. That means that at the k plus 1th step iteration, what is the value of the variable x1? Similarly, for the x2, x3 and x4. Now how we are writing it out? Please see it carefully. Actually, let me go back to the coefficient matrix again. So this is the coefficient matrix. Okay. Just we follow this order. X1 will be the first one. So what we do actually, we just take all the terms on the right hand side. So 12.881 minus all these terms, right? And then You divide that one by the coefficient of x1. That will give you the first line as we have written it here. Just see it first. 12.881 minus 1.13x2 minus 1.886x3 minus 0.92x4. If you just see it properly, this is nothing but the first line. But something difference is there. What difference? I am writing here not exactly x2, x3, x4, but the value of x2, x3, x4 at kth step iteration. So please first note the difference. I am trying to find out the value of x1 at the k plus 1th step iteration, and I am using it in the right hand side, the values of the remaining three variables at the kth iteration. So the iteration just below the kth plus 1th iteration, right? So the just the one step iteration below, okay, we are considering. Okay, so this is the thing you are writing for x1 k plus 1. Similarly for x2 k plus 1, the same thing we will do, but now we will use the second linear equation. That means this one. Okay, again the same thing. You take everything there excepting this one, and just divide the whole thing then by this coefficient of x2. Okay, so let me just come back here. See this thing I have written here. Again, and think one thing is just see here. For finding out this x2k, what am I writing? x1 k plus 1. That means the value of x1 at the k plus 1 step iteration. But for x3 and x4, value of x3 and x4 at the kth iteration. So why it is this happening? Accordingly, you just see कि I have calculated the value of x1 at the k plus 1th iteration. So the value of x1 at the k plus 1th iteration is already known to me. But the value of x2, x3, x4 are not yet known at the k plus 1th iteration. Say for example, I take k equal to 2, suppose. So value of x1 at the third step iteration, k plus 1 equal to 3 then. So the value of third step of x1 at third step iteration known. So I can use it here. But for the remaining two, I do not know the value. So I have to use the second step iteration only. Okay. Same here and again for here. Okay.